But, this has really inflicted a lot of fear in the Jewish community at large, the pro-Israel community.
Colorado Governor Jared Polis reacting to the terrifying scene after a man in Boulder, Colorado, set multiple people on fire at a Jewish community event. It was a weekly gathering to support Israeli hostages in Gaza.
Witnesses are reporting that the subject used a makeshift flamethrower and threw an incendiary device into the crowd.
According to the FBI, the man yelled "Free Palestine" during the attack.
It is clear that this is a targeted act of violence, and the FBI is investigating this as an act of terrorism. The subject has been identified as Mohamed Sabry Soliman, and he's 45 years old.
Witnesses described a chaotic scene as bystanders rushed in with water to help the victims and extinguish the flames.
It was two older ladies, just kind of rolling around a little bit, and they had really bad burns all up on their legs.
There was one woman who was an elderly woman who had her hair charred.
The man believed to be the suspect was still on the scene when police arrived.
A suspect was pointed out to our officers on the scene. Our officers immediately encountered that suspect, who was taken into custody without incident. The suspect was injured. The suspect was taken to the hospital.
I'm Reed Binion reporting.
This morning, a painful recovery for 8 victims and an entire community after investigators say a man used a makeshift flamethrower and shouted "Free Palestine" during an attack in Boulder, Colorado on a march calling for the return of Israeli hostages still held in Gaza.
It is clear that this is a targeted act of violence, and the FBI is investigating this as an act of terrorism.
Videos from the scene show a man shouting and waving bottles filled with some kind of liquid. Authorities now identifying the suspect as 45-year-old Mohamed Sabry Soliman. 2 senior law enforcement officials say he's an Egyptian national and that while the investigation is in the early stages, he appears to have acted alone. Police arrested him at the scene.
And they immediately ran into a chaotic situation where a man was throwing Molotov cocktails and using other devices to hurt people.
Witnesses joined in, rushing to help the victims between the ages of 52 to 88, some with very serious burns.
I was just how can I help? And they had really bad burns all up on their legs. And then I went over to this other grass area that was right by the front entrance. And there were some people, there was another lady on the ground with really bad burns on her legs, just screaming.
The attack follows the deadly shooting less than 2 weeks ago of 2 Israeli embassy staff members in Washington, D.C., after which investigators say the suspect shouted that he did it for Gaza. And as the war there between Israel and Hamas drags on, both anti-Semitic and anti-Muslim hate crimes are on the rise.
Senior White House officials say President Trump has been briefed on the attack as Colorado officials, including the governor, condemned the violence, saying the suspect should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.